So this will be my recap and reaction to Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 1, A Holt and a Prayer. Something interesting I noticed about the opening credits was that Kiki and Stormy and Courtney were all in there. I thought that was cool. Interesting for Kiki, but cool for Stormy and Courtney. But I also didn't see Destiny there. Is she not on the show anymore? Like, what happened with that? Where's Destiny at? Destiny not being in the opening credits is weird. Like, did they officially fire her now? So the opening scene starts with Melody coming over to Maurice and Kimmy's house to check on Kimmy and to see how everything's going and catch up, since after the reunion they haven't seen each other. She has flowers and stuff, which is nice. Something that I find interesting about this cast is that they always seem to remark on the fact that they don't hang out or talk to each other or see each other after the reunions end. I guess tensions are always just so high. But I thought that was interesting. This is a sidebar, but Kimmy always looks good to me. Those Scott women always look good to me. But yeah, so they talk about how Kimmy wants to throw this party, and I think Melody offers to host or whatever, and Kimmy was like, she appreciated it and she was gonna ask, but she knows that Melody doesn't really talk to anyone like that, and Kimmy wants to invite Martell, people that Melody doesn't talk to. Now Melody offers to host the party and she's gonna do it and everything, but I find it interesting that after every time she falls out with people, the only person that she kind of stays neutral with is Kimmy. Now, I don't think she's just Kimmy's friend because of the circumstances. I think that even from season 1, whenever Kimmy put her foot down with Melody, Melody kind of was just like, all right, I ain't gonna play with you. I'm not gonna play dumb with you like I do with everybody else. So I respect that about their relationship that has grown now. But if I recall, at the end of the reunion, Melody said that she didn't care about what nobody on that stage was doing. So why exactly is she sitting here in Kimmy and Maurice's face right now? I forgot to mention that before they even started talking about the party, Melody had asked how everything's going, what's going on, and Maurice was just saying that Kimmy wants to keep moving, and she won't rest and sit down and stuff. And then Melody was like, well, ever since I've known Kimmy, she always been doing stuff and all of that. And Maurice was kind of like, exactly, he wants her to chill out and all of that. And I will say that it's nice to see Maurice cater and worry about Kimmy, because those Scott men don't worry. They kind of just feel like you should just do. But it's nice that he's, you know, concerned. I guess it's not nice that he's concerned, but it's nice that he is being thoughtful about her time and energy and things like that for once. When Maurice leaves and Kimmy and Melody talk about the guest list for the party, and Kimmy mentions how she wants to invite Martell and she doesn't know how that would be for Melody because, we know in the past that whenever you invite Martell to something, Melody's ass do not want to be there. So Melody is like, I hosted for y'all, call everybody, it's no problem. This is about you, it's not about me. And they do this weird reenactment scene of how Melody would call and talk to everybody on the phone. And I didn't really understand it at first because I'm thinking, all right, well, Kimmy kind of just giving her a hard time. But she was actually showing Melody what it would be like on the phone when she called these people who she do not talk to and who she kind of just treats real badly. So I thought Kimmy, when I realized later on what she was doing it on purpose. I thought it was funny, but you'll see later on why it made sense, because that's kind of exactly how some people answer the phone when they talk to Melody about this party. Especially since Melody is always bragging about how nobody has her new number and she always got to change it. And especially since these people aren't going to know who they're talking to when she calls them. Not gonna lie, when they first started reenacting the phone call situation, I'm like, their relationship is so fake. Like, why are they doing this? That scene ends, and then we get into Mr. Holt. So the next scene opens up with Martell laying down, getting a facial, and at first I was like, okay, facial. Then I realized Martell just loved being naked on this show. on the first scenes, visuals of him on this show, he just loved not having no clothes on, don't he? So Martell starts to explain that physical touch, he loves it, and that it seems to be his love language and things. He just loves, hugging and touching and caressing and head massages and things like that. And in the meantime, while he's getting his massage, Miss Marlene comes over, Martell's mom, and she, is like, "Oh, what you doing to my son?" You know how she do. She don't play with her son. That's her son. You know. So she kind of like, "What's going on in here?" So after Martell is done with his little facial, he gets off the table and he hops on the phone with Sheree and call her real quick. While Miss Marlene is sitting right there and they talk on the phone for a second. We're all awkward, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I'm not gonna be one of those people who's like, these are grown people and they don't need to be in this mess and stuff like that. I like the mess. I like to watch the mess until it go too far, but I like to watch the mess. And Sheree is a part of the mess, and I know she's gonna give us some nice TV or whatever, but I don't really think the first time we see Sheree or hear from Sheree, other than in the preview, should be her talking to her boyfriend's mother. That is awkward for me. It might not be awkward for anybody else, but I just thought that was a little cringy, especially because Martell is sitting right there with his chest open in front of his mama on the phone with his girlfriend. That is a no, no, no. And I forgot to mention the fact that, Miss Marlene came in there and Martell started talking about his therapy and things and how he's been going and it's been helping him and he's been doing well, and how Miss Marlene always is just like, ain't nothing wrong with my son, ain't nothing wrong with my son. When for once, since Martell has been on this show, he's kind of grown, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one is forcing him to go to counseling. He is taking the step to do it himself, and that's honorable. And Miss Marlene should be proud of him and not make him feel like, well, you ain't got no flaws, boy, ain't nothing wrong with you, ain't nothing wrong with you. There might not be anything wrong with him in her eyes, but there's always something that we can work on. And then they flash back to the reunion with Carlos and his little boohoo tears during the reunion. It's still some BS to me because Carlos know what he doing. Yes, he's giving us some good TV, but them tears about Martell still loving Melody and all that stuff, I feel like Carlos soaked that up on the reunions to stay on Melody good side. I've been watching this show from the beginning, and I've always felt like at the end of the day, Carlos is going to do what Melody asks or going to try and stay on Melody's good side because he knows that they probably cannot keep the show on unless Melody is still apart. But that's neither here or there right now. And that's not to say that Martin doesn't still love Melody. Like, I feel like they both still have a little bit of some of that because who doesn't when they've been with someone so long and shared so much that they have shared. But Carlos he be soaking that up a little bit, in my opinion. But then, Miss Marlene ends up saying, stop talking to the kids about their dad like a monster or something like that. And the thing is like, I guess she could be right. There's multiple ways you can look at this situation, but it seems like now all Miss Marlene has to say is bad stuff. And not necessarily what she said was bad, but at the same time, like, she's right that, Melody shouldn't keep talking to the kids about their dad, especially saying negative things. She can hold that in. She doesn't necessarily need to share that with the kids all the time, but every time Miss Marlene come over, she's saying the same thing about don't talk about the kid. Like, Martell is not the innocent one in this. Okay, she first came in and said, what you doing to my boy while he's sitting on the table getting his facial. And then it's, Martell, you going to therapy, ain't nothing wrong with you, And now it's, stop talking about him like Ma'am, your son be out here acting a fool. He has to get put in his place sometimes. I don't know what to tell you, but your son is not as innocent as you keep trying to make it seem. So we move into Stormy and Courtney. Now, like I said, it was nice seeing them on the opening credits because honestly, it's nice seeing another couple. And this is all shade to Tiffany and Lewis because I don't like them. I have not liked them since I got on the show. Me and Stormy kind of have a little love hate sometimes. We used to. I like her now because, well, we get into that later. But it was just nice seeing another couple because we need some more new, fresh perspectives. You know, we already know the Scotts, both sets, and we already know the Holts, even though they're not together no more. And we know the Whitlows. So, yeah, it's just nice seeing somebody else. So we're seeing Stormy and Courtney in their beautiful home with their beautiful baby. And, you know, they're just relaxing and chilling. It's nice. And Stormy and Courtney get into the conversation of having another baby. And Courtney does not want to have any more kids. And I was not aware of the fact that Stormy had had complications in her previous pregnancy. I remember her mentioning that she might want to do a surrogate, you know, if she ever wanted to have kids again. But that was like the only thing that I heard of it. We didn't hear much else from it. But, you know, Courtney doesn't want to have kids anymore, or no, any more kids. And he doesn't even want to try with a surrogate. And, you know, Stormy is a little upset with that. And she's like, you know, because it was me who, she didn't want to have kids, many more kids at first. And now it's Courtney who just doesn't want to have any at all. And, you know, he's just kind of like, he doesn't want to go through it again with her, you know, almost dying. So, you know, I understand that. But Stormy's a little upset and shut down because Courtney kind of shut down. He's not really explaining why. He's just straight like, you know, he don't want no more kids. This really don't have nothing to do with them. But when Stormy says that Courtney shuts down, he don't mean liking to talk. He is giving me cancer sign. It's giving me a cancer sign. That's neither here or there. That is just my little input. Now for you millimeters, this is the part of the video where you'll want to leave because I am not a millimeter. I don't like Melody and I'm not gonna like her. You know, I ain't gonna call her out of her name or nothing like that. But I don't like how she moved. I've never liked how she moved, and you're not gonna like the things that I say about her. So you probably just want to leave now because I don't have anything nice to say. And recently, I thought I just saw on Campire that Melody and Martell weren't gonna have their kids on the show anymore. But that might be, I guess, for later seasons or later episodes. But you know that this one was probably already filmed already. But the kids talk about what they want for the holidays and things like that. And then Melody is getting ready to make these phone calls, child. This was so cringy. First of all, she pulled out her little trap phone. What I don't like about Melody is the fact that she thinks that people care about her enough to be stressing about trying to talk to her. Like, y'all are all business people. Don't y'all think y'all all have multiple numbers? And, you know, I know she be changing her number because of Martell and things like that. But I just don't like how she be trying to brag because, girl, you don't like to talk to nobody else. So what make you think that at this point they still be wanting to reach out and talk to you? And I honestly wonder if Kimmy has this trap phone number because everybody else is getting calls from it, but you know, that's neither here or there right now. And she's using this phone to call people for Kimmy's party, so I wonder if Kimmy has his number. But anyways, you know, she called Tiffany, and Tiffany is playing along with the fake Mel shit because every time she called someone. Everyone is like, "Who is this? Whose number is this?" You know what I'm saying? Some of them asked, "Oh, did you get a new number?" I think Stormy asked if you got a new number, but Tiffany was like, she'll come to the party. When Mel got on the phone with Stormy, child, that shit was awkward, bro. Cause first they couldn't hear each other, and then, well, Stormy couldn't hear Mel, and then Stormy was like, "Is this your new number? Like, who is this? Like, I." This is why I like Stormy, because she clocked Mel's BS before the reunion, and straight told them all on the couch at the reunion that she ain't seen that side of Mel yet, and ain't that close enough for her to see the kind of person she is from Tisha's perspective. But she saw enough. Stormy saw enough, and she kind of played dumb along with Melody when Mel called her from this trap phone, because it's just like, girl, we supposed to be closer than this. Why are you calling me from some number that I don't even know, that I don't even have? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it not the third or fourth season where Melody is like, well, yeah, my friend Stormy is bringing me to her warehouse, and she gonna show me the ins and out of her business, and then all of a sudden, Melody's little skincare line then popped and got all famous and getting all these orders and shit in, all from the help that Stormy gave her, but you didn't even give this girl your burner number? Martell bullshits about a lot of stuff, but one thing I can agree on, and anybody else that watches the show and know the kind of person Melody is and how she move, one thing he was right about was that she gonna use you as a friend, and she gonna drop you as soon as she done with your ass. Like, it's just so cruddy how she's done every single friend she's had on this show. And Kiki's ass is next, but we gonna get into that another time. So Mel calls Tisha, and the conversation doesn't go any type of way because Tisha is gonna support Kimmy regardless. But I just love how Tisha answered his phone. She's just like, "This is Letitia Scott," straight to the point, because that's a businesswoman. You know what I'm saying? She's not putting on no fake, high pitched voice to talk to nobody. And then Melody calls Martell. Child, Martell living on a prayer for real, for real. Cause I just don't know why they keep playing in our face about them. Obviously, they probably still be hunching and just trying to play it off for the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Because he talking about oh, did you think about that prayer that you told me that you pray about us getting cool? I will say that I don't think Martell's intentions on trying to have cordial co-parenting with Melody when it comes to their kids, I don't think he's dishonest in that. But I am tired of Melody trying to keep making it seem like that this man just want her, want her, want her. Even if he do, girl, we don't have to keep hearing that. We already know. You don't got to keep saying it. It's in his body language. It's in how he talked to you. He basically wanted you to save his number or see if he could save this trap phone number because he wanted to be able to get in touch with you. Like, girl, we know he not over your ass just yet. Don't got to keep rubbing in nobody's face. We understand. True question is are you over him, Melody? Because it's been how many seasons since y'all been divorced, and every time y'all on the screen together, it is just so cringy and awkward. You can feel the sexual tension through the fucking TV. Like, I'm sorry, but you can. I watch the show because I enjoy it, and I enjoy some of the cast members, but Melody makes it hard to watch this show. And I know some of y'all are gonna be like, well, don't watch it because she is the show. She is the show. She is not the show, not in my opinion. Everybody's opinions are different, and that is okay. Okay, not everybody needs to have the same opinion. But shit, I watch the show if she not in it, and even if Martell's still in it, cause at least he make me laugh with his tight ass clothes every now and again. What's she doing? But annoying me. So now we're back with Stormy. She's sitting down with her mom. Miss Betty Steele, and to talk about Stormy's conversation with Courtney and about why he doesn't want to have any more kids. And Miss Betty has a nice POV in regards to why into why Courtney might not want to have any more kids. It might be too hard for him to see Stormy back in that situation, of almost dying on the table because of childbirth and things like that. And I didn't even think about that because men don't exactly express their feelings in the ways that they should, that will probably help resolve certain things. So that POV was pretty interesting. And then we get into the conversation about Miss Betty going off on social media. I like her already because she don't like Melody, and for valid reasons. And y'all might say that's petty, but look, Mel has come for everybody and just be expected not to get nothing back. And when these mamas like to go in on her, it's like for valid reasons. It's like, how your mom always used to tell you how she can tell when your friends ain't good for you before you can. It's one of them kind of situations. I totally understand where Stormy's coming from. She's trying to prevent another Mama Wanda situation, but can't nobody be Mama Wanda. But no, she trying to prevent a situation between, Mel and her mom and trying to stop the beef. But the thing is like, what happens on social media stays on social media. And sometimes they bring it on to the show. Well, a lot of the times they bring it on to the show. And I know Stormy's whole thing is like, well, she doesn't want everybody to think that she has something to do with it or blame her for what her mom said. And her mom's kind of like, you ain't had nothing to do with it. I'm grown. I said what I said, and that's just what it is. But you know how people are going to already associate you with your parent or your husband or kid or whoever it is, your brother or sister. If you are the person that is more popular in a situation and your family member is kind of talking outside the net, about someone else on the show, they're going to automatically blame you. But, Miss Betty said that she didn't like Mel from the first time she met her. So that says a lot. It says a lot, a lot. So, the whole segue that got them into talking about why Miss Betty doesn't like Mel is because Stormy brought up the fact that Mel called her to ask her if she wanted to come to Kimmy's party. And Stormy, you could just tell she's a little over the situation, because she's just like, she called her and was just like, oh, who's this? She couldn't hear, she didn't know who this was, and she didn't recognize the number. And, she was like, Mel was like, oh, hey, it's Mel. And she just kind of like, whoa, I ain't talked to you in months. All of a sudden you just calling me about a party. Like, that's weird. And Martell told y'all so, he told Tiffany specifically, but I'm pretty sure Stormy heard around, through the grapevine that if you befriend Mel, it's only because she wants something from you. Or if Mel befriends you, it's only because she wants something from you, and then she will drop you off later. And Tisha said the same exact thing, but we all know why Mel has kept her distance from Stormy, because of how Stormy answered that question on the reunion. She's like, she doesn't see Mel in the same light as Tisha has because she don't know her like that. They ain't gone through nothing like that. And maybe Mel took that as like, okay, well, you act like you don't know me at all, so fine, I'll keep my distance. But Melody dissects everybody's movements, words, body language, and everything during those reunions, so she can decide whether or not she's going to keep you or cut you for next season. Everybody knows that. So you have the final scene of where Kimmy and Maurice walks in into Kimmy's little party, and Maurice is saying that it's not a party, it's a get together. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen Phineas and Ferb, but it reminded me of that time Candace threw a party, and she was like, "It's not a party, it's an intimate get together," and everybody was like, "Candace party, Candace party." I know, very cringy. Just forget I even said that. But basically, they come in and Melody shows them around, sees how everything is and all the pink and everything, and it's nice or whatever. Um, and of course, I completely forgot about Tisha and Marceau because they are always late. They are late to everything. They are late to everything. And I thought that was a joke before, but they really do be late to everything. And Tisha looks good again. Good the fuck. Like she's been looking great, so far. And eventually, Kimmy gets to speak with everyone at the party and lets them know that, she is cancer free and they don't see anything and that she still have to go through her radiation and everything like that. But I'm so very happy and excited for Kimmy when she put them arms off. Whew, I felt that one. But then we get on to Martell talking to Melody about this prayer child. One thing I will say is that Melody don't want to give nobody nothing. She don't want to give anybody anything. And I know Martell technically doesn't deserve anything at this point, but all this man is trying to do is have a cordial co-parenting relationship, and of course it'll probably turn into more. He'll probably want it to turn into more because you give nigga an inch, he take a mile. So I understand that, Melody is kind of really just done entertaining Martell because she straight just told him, like, I ain't pray about it. And he kind of just like, why you do me like that? But at this point, Martell just needs to be okay with the fact that they got shared custody. Seriously, because Melody don't want to give nobody nothing. Another thing, I wanted to take a damn shot for every time they said prayer child. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many times they said prayer. Please somebody go back and count for me because, oh my Lord. Now getting to my favorite part of the episode. Melody and Stormy having a conversation because Stormy is like, what is up with this phone call stuff? I ain't heard from you in months, and all of a sudden you invite me to a party and I ain't heard from you, seen from you in months. And Stormy not feeling that fake shit. She already told y'all from the jump she not feeling that fake shit. And Melody talking about some, oh, you could have DM'd me. I'm sorry, but I would have turned around and walked away because what you talking about DMU, child? We are not kids. We not just some little la-di-da acquaintances. Like, I let you into my business, into my warehouse. I let you into my home. You know what I'm saying? I let you use my house for your music video. And you talking about I could have DM'd you. Girl, get out of my face with that bullshit because that's just some fake shit right there. And Melody knew that Stormy wasn't going to stand for that. Like, come on, Melody. Stormy not like all these other birds that you brought on this show. Don't do that to her. And you could tell Stormy was just kind of like, I know she ain't just say that stupid shit to me. Just DM me, Mel. Alright. We already know Mel must have said something that, made Stormy, let go of the whole situation or whatever, because we wouldn't have a rest of the season, continue any more of their storyline and their drama for the rest of the season if she didn't. But yeah, this ain't new for Mel, and this just gonna be one of them things that Stormy gonna have to tally up when it comes to the kind of way that Mel be moving. And that's my recap and review of this episode of Love, Marriage, Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 1, A Holt and a Prayer. And for the preview of next week's episode, Big Lou ain't bout it because it seems like every time Tiffany stick her nose somewhere, he gotta almost fight somebody when all he need to do is tell his wife to stop being nosy. Secondly, Marceau is still treating Tisha dirty when it comes to this whole Sculpt thing, and I just can't wait till them kids graduate so she can leave his ass. Thirdly, Martell making some sense about something for once, and then Kiki versus Stormy. And by the look on her face, it seems like Melody probably set that shit up. So we just gonna see. Thanks for watching. Bye.